Stage housing, you will hear us talk about having curious conversations, and that we state that we have curious conversations with our service users. But what does that mean? Well, probably it's easier to say what a curious conversation isn't actually. So you may have been in a position yourself at some point in your life where you are describing something to someone and you really know that they're not listening to you. They're not engaged with what you're saying. They're not interested. You can tell that they are not giving you any kind of eye contact. They're not asking you questions around why perhaps you feel the way that you do. They just genuinely seem disinterested in you. And, that can leave you feeling a particular way, like, why am I even bothering to have this conversation? Or you can feel quite defeated at times, or indeed a bit angry that someone's not listening to you. Curious conversations are the opposite of this. So I'm not just talking about us as individuals actively listening to someone, where you're applying your active listening skills with really good body language, your genuineness about listening to the story. It's also about how you use your questioning techniques and your motivational skills and show a genuine level of care, empathy, and really interest for that someone and what it is that they're talking to you about. It's also about peeling away the layers at times, or dusting away, I guess, being a bit of an archaeologist for the soul. You're curious about what's been happening to that person, and you use questions as to why that happened or when did that happen, and you show that you are really interested in the story. When you use skills like this to really sit with someone and have a conversation that isn't, like assessment led, or it isn't about investigating something, what you'll find is it naturally grows a relationship, and it builds trust, where a service user then goes on a journey with you where they will come back time and time again so that they experience more of the same. You have to imagine that some of our service users might not have ever been given much time by professionals or practitioners or people generally, but we do have time for our service users, and it's really important that we use that time by being kind to people, by exploring what is going on for them and being curious, because once we're curious and we show that interest in someone and we ask questions, it then helps us not only to get to know about them a little bit more, but a whole plethora of fruitfulness comes from this, through the trust element, through them wanting to be with us as a service, and through actually them building their own confidence and their own actual self-governance through speaking to you. So a curious conversation is good for us as a service. It's good for the service user to explore themselves and what happens next. But it's also a really quite healing mechanism for people, because it's often an experience that they would never have had somewhere else. So be curious, be interested, be genuine, be empathic, show all of your good intentions, and be yourself, because the service user will know when you're not.